I want to be a walking piece of activist art every time I show up.
Billy Porter, look at you, looking fabulous. During this quarantine, we are trying our best right now. How's everything going for you? How you been holding up? COVID-19 and us being quarantined.
You know, I've been holding up pretty good. I've been learning what self-care means during this COVID-19 global reset. I've been learning what boundaries and all of that kind of stuff looks like.
Right.
I'm writing a lot, you know, waking up early mornings, 5 a.m. and getting my writing in before 10, you know.
Wow. Okay, wait. You have a real routine. Real routine.
Yeah, but I will say this. As a freelance artist for my entire life, this is what I always do.
Got it.
It's always a routine that I set up for myself. Otherwise, nothing would ever happen.
Such a blessing. And when we just look at your journey, I mean, we're just so happy because you're so unapologetic about everything that you do, right? I mean, you've done it all. Here you are, you gained critical acclaim playing Lola in Kinky Boots. How was that experience for you?
Well, you know, that was the original dream come true. The original dream was to move to New York City and win a Tony Award. You know,
and you did. Hello. We got a couple other awards to talk about.
It took me about 30 years, 25 plus years. All good, no complaint. But I had expanded my dreams at that point. And so to sort of allow myself to be in the present, you know, to practice presence and to not worry about what's not happening, but to focus on what is happening, to be grateful for what is happening, really turned everything around for me. And then all of a sudden one day I was back on Broadway after 13 years of not being able to get any work on Broadway. I was, you know, in a role that was made for me. I was, you know, heralded with awards and all of those things. And, you know, I really am grateful that I was able to find that kind of presence before the success.
How much input do you have when you're working on Pose, which we all love and we love watching you on? How much input do you have? Because I feel like that's somewhere that you could really be creative.
Well, I think the genius of Ryan Murphy, Stephen Canals, Janet Mock, Brad Falchuk, and Lady J in that room when they create for us is that they are smart enough to build it on each of our individual strengths. So yes, you know, the initial auditions, the initial talks, all of that stuff, yes. But once we got into the room, once we got into the space and we started working, I watched how each character became more specific and more specific to each individual, simply based on us engaging with each other in the space. It's very, very smart.
And, you know, we love you on the red carpet. I mean, you show out. I feel like if there's anybody out there who thought they had a chance, they're just avoiding to go before you or after you on that red carpet. Nobody wants to do it. They're like, damn, Billy's back. How's that process for you? What do you go for when it's time to show out on the red carpet?
Well, it's just such a surprise. I mean, I've always been a fashion person. I've always loved fashion. I wore a suit and tie to public school every day back in the 80s. So I've always loved fashion. I always knew that it could be a part of my creative narrative. So really, when this opportunity for me to be invited to these major red carpets came along, it was very intentional for me, the decision to use the platform for change, for art. I want to be a walking piece of activist art every time I show up, because first impressions are what we all are judged on.
Were you nervous at all when you're breaking barriers and you're wearing a dress and you're doing really whatever you want?
I just don't think about it like that. It's not really, it's not, I've lived long enough to not care about what other people's opinions are of me. That's the greatest part of being 50. You give 0 F's, period. Like that has been the greatest freedom.
And, okay, so I want to talk to you a little bit about music, because here you are, as if you aren't busy enough. You have your new song, For What It's Worth.
Yes.
And man, what made you want to do this? I feel like I would know, but for those who don't.
I am first generation post-civil rights movement. And then I came out as gay in 1985, and we went straight to the front lines to fight for our lives during the AIDS crisis. Wow. So activism is in my DNA. I grew up with a thing called protest music. That used to be a big thing.
Right.
Until I would say, people in the industry say you don't want to get Dixie checked. So, I think there's a lot of fear.
Oh yeah.
Comes to if you're going to be able to eat or not.
Right.
I know I'll be able to eat if I lose some fans for telling the truth. Somebody needs to tell it.
Yes.
Looking towards the future and understanding that this year is an election year, and the terror that we've all lived through during this administration, I wanted to make sure that as I re-enter the sort of mainstream music market, I want everybody to know my intention. I want everybody to know the kind of artist that I am. My intention was to create something for this
time. Yeah.
People could listen to in the spirit of protest music, in the spirit of using art to speak truth to power, which is what we get to do, which is who we get to be. And we also get to reach into the hearts of people and change it, effectively change it.
Well, Billy, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us today. We appreciate you. We love you. We can't wait till this time is done where we can see you back on the red carpet, and of course, being glamorous as usual. We love you.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you enjoyed this video, show us some love by liking it, commenting, and subscribing so that you never miss out on the latest celebrity interview.